Hi, I'm Steve with Dahlia Health, and I have with me today Dr. Corey. Dr. Corey is a big supporter of Dahlia. We really appreciate that. And he also owns and operates one of the largest weight loss centers in the Midwest. But in addition, my understanding is you have run a large number of fitness centers helping people get that weight off and stay fit.
Right, yeah, definitely. I've been, spent a lot of years in this whole fat loss industry, and I've learned a lot. And I'm grateful to be here. You guys have developed an amazing product, and I'm excited to be able to use that in our clinic and help deliver results for patients. So,
well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Now, we brought Dr. Corey in to answer some of the clinical questions that we get from time to time, and we thought of no one who could do it better than you. So I'd like to ask you a few questions, if that's all right.
Absolutely.
One of the questions we get a lot is, how does this work? What's the magic behind light?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I get that question a lot. How does it work, Dr. Corey? And the answer is, the good news is it's clinically proven. So I love that. I mean, it's backed by science upon science. So it works 100% of the time. And I always use an analogy of clusters of grapes. Okay, that's the best way to kind of get a visual for people to understand, like, what does the fat cell look like? And unfortunately, it looks like clusters of grapes, right? And due to hormones in the body, your body usually is storing, so it keeps growing those clusters, and that's what creates frustration. So what the lights do is they're going to come in with certain wavelengths, right? So certain scientifically proven wavelengths to come in here and poke holes in that outside of that grape. It also brings energy with it. Okay, so as it brings that energy, it's going to break down this gel type of grape into basically three things: glycerol, fatty acids, and water. So as that happens, it now is liquefied. So you have this liquid that seeps out of that fat cell, and you're just left with that outside of the grape. So just the skin of the grape is left. And that's what then you see the contouring happen. That's what makes everybody happy, right? So then where does it go? The lymphatic system takes it and is going to shuttle it to the liver. Liver's job of many things in the body, one of them is fatty metabolism. We want to make sure that liver is going to package it up for us and put it in the toilet. So it's going to go from fat cell to water soluble, and your body excretes it. And that's really sums up, how does it work?
Another question that we get in a lot is, how long does this last? Is it temporary? Is it permanent? How long does it last?
Yeah, and the answer, and I don't like using this answer, but it depends, right? And why do I say that? Because everybody's different. Your body's different than my body. And how it works is when we've collapsed that shell, so you're left with just the skin, your body's gonna have a tendency to fill it up, okay? So some people say, well, Dr. Corey, I look at food and I get fat, right? Well, they're gonna fill it up much quicker than somebody that is only maybe dealing with one of the hormonal changes. So that's how it could differ. But now there's a time component to this, okay? And this is where the magic really happens to help keep it there longer. So what is the time component? If I can keep, or you can keep, that cell collapsed for, every couple of days, so 2 to 3 times a week, keep it collapsed. Over 6 to 8 weeks, you've now hardened that shell to a raisin. So once you get that raisin, it's really hard to go back to a grape. Could you? You probably could. It would take a lot of effort, right? Yeah. So, but that's when those long-lasting results start, is time. Staying consistent with use and being patient with that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, I think one of the questions we see a lot is, how do I maximize my results?
Yeah, so, results do differ, depending on the individual. Kind of like I talked about, as we go through, the cell, the good news is the devices will always do their job. So you can always kind of check that box off. Is, the device is going to go in there, poke holes in the fat cell, drain it, and leave you there with the shell. So where it can differ is how quickly can that individual's body get it through the lymph to the liver to the out, right? So let's talk through that. So number one, there's about 5 things you can do. Here's the first. Win a gold medal in drinking water. Okay? The solution to pollution is dilution. So when you have that stuff that's floating in the interstitial, move it. Help, get that liquid moving through the body to get it out. So 1, drink water. Number 2 is movement. Movement moves lymph. So like in the clinic, we'll put them on a vibe plate, okay, vibration platform that'll help move lymph. Or I'll say, just get out and walk. If you can get walking, that stuff's gonna be leaving that cell for the next 20 hours. So get walking, get moving, okay? Third one is limit your food intake an hour before or after doing the device, okay? Why? Because I want the liver to only have to deal with the contents that's leaving the cell, okay? That way we can get it out. Fourth would be no lotions. So obviously you guys have calibrated those things scientifically to allow certain wavelengths to go in certain depths, okay? Well, we don't want to have a lotion, messing with any of that. So I always say come raw, right? So come just with whatever you want contoured with nothing on it, no lotions. And then the fifth one would be, if you're wanting to really speed things up, support the liver, right? So come in, bring, we offer a couple of good liver supports we can do, or just even through nutrition and making sure that liver is happy. And then one more, kind of a bonus tip, would be food choices, right? Like try to limit your sugar intake when you're doing the pad. Sugar will close that grape or that fat cell so fast. So try to avoid that. Try to avoid alcohol, nicotine, things like that the liver is going to have to deal with. So if you can really work on those 5 plus the bonus, those 6 things, that's really going to help you maximize your results. Because just remember, the pad shows up for work every single day and will do its job.
Yes, it does. So a lot of people struggle with weight loss, and it's become very frustrating. Can you talk us through why that might be happening and how this might help?
Yeah, I think where a lot of the frustration comes from is like they don't even know what they're fighting. Like if you don't know what you're fighting, it's really hard to win a war, right? So I think that's where it starts. And kind of in my background, when we owned all the boot camps throughout the U.S. is, we watch these people, show up at these boot camps 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, 6 days a week, but yet still had this, that love handle, or still had an area that was just so stubborn. And they'd either work themselves, hurt, or they'd burn out. And then you'd see them in public and they had ballooned, right? So it didn't make sense to me. And I have a couple degrees, and one of them is in biochemistry, and I wanted to really understand this fat loss journey for people because I knew it would help a lot of people. So as we dove into the science, we really figured out that all of fat loss is due to hormones. And once we understand that, the light bulb goes off, right? And that's why, the bars and shakes, the pills and lotions, all of those things that people spend thousands upon thousands of dollars on, the personal trainers, you name it, it's been spent. They lose 10 pounds, they always put it back on, right? Because it doesn't fix the cause of hormones. So what we've done is, obviously we've put together a system that addresses that to really give guaranteed results. So as we talk through that, we've called it the Core 4. 4 things, 4 pillars that when you put them together, they work 100% of the time. Okay, so what are they? Number 1 is mind. There's a lot of people that have limiting beliefs or just different behaviors on how they viewed food in the past. And that's what creates yo-yos. That's what creates, I lost 20 and I put it all back on. We want to really make sure that this is the last thing that they'll ever have to do, the last program that they need, okay? Second thing, I call it my magic weapon, all right, thanks to you, is, the sculpting pads, the Dahlia sculpting pads. They're going to show up for work and they're going to do their job. They're going to, just what I explained earlier is, take a fat cell, drain it, leave it with a shell, and help sculpt the body. So it allows me to really focus on the stubborn areas, to get those going, boost metabolism, help with wrinkles, and then even pain relief. There's so many benefits there. That's why I call it my magic weapon. And then the third one, whole food nutrition. If you want to really change hormones in your body and get your body back to a burning state versus storing, the only thing that will do that is through whole foods. So when we coach whole foods, we basically tell the person what to eat, when to eat, and how much to the ounce. And we really take control of all that to get the body back to a burning state where you can have, a chip and, bread every once in a while, but you burn through it versus sticking to you. And then the last one is accountability. That's a huge one. You've got to show up to use the pads. The pads can't sit on your shelf and expect results, right? You got to put them on. And the same thing, when we talk about the Core 4 is, people are logging food. People are engaging with their coaches. People are really focused on their journey in order to really maximize results. And when you put all those 4 things together, we can guarantee what, the results that we get.